Batman writer James Tynion IV announces a brand new series, or season as they're calling it, with DC Comics. It's not like anything else you're probably going to expect. Mike Mignola is going to do a brand new graphic novel through Dark Horse, and our favorite comic book series has just been optioned. So hit the like button while the intro plays. Let's talk about it. All right, so I know it's been a minute since I've done some news for you guys. There's not been a ton going on this week, and we've had a whole lot going on personally, and we have a big weekend plan of recording and all kind of great stuff coming this week. So we've been doing a lot of prepping, and we've been a little behind with some of the new stuff. But today and yesterday brought some pretty significant news. At the time of recording, actually, Hollywood Reporter just announced within the hour a brand new series from James Tynion IV, the Batman writer. He's also on Joker. You may have heard of Something's Killing the Children. He did a lot of work with Snyder on Batman, all kinds of stuff. So James Tynion IV has just been on his rise, we'll say. And honestly, right now, he is a lot of people's absolute favorite writer, above and beyond. So he announced, again, within the hour today, March 11th, that they are doing a brand new horror comic from DC Black Label. All right, so we know he does two things very well. He does Batman, which, you know, most of his career with DC's been. I know he's done some other things, but, you know, early on with Snyder and his own run has been very successful. And now he's doing Joker, which I've seen some, you know, reviews because people weren't expecting a Joker comic to be about or from the point of view of Detective Gordon. We'll see what the total response is on that one. I'm still a little leery myself. But anyways, a brand new horror comic. And he also does horror very well. It's called The Nice House on the Lake, and it's going to be, again, through DC Black Label. And we do get a cover here, so it looks very interesting. You have the woman in a lake, obviously, with a ton of skulls, and then up on the hill there, you have what appears to be a very, very nice lake house. So this is book one of a 12-issue miniseries, or as they're calling it, a season. So if this season does well, we'll eventually get more, hopefully. And to be honest with you, I don't see this failing. And I believe it has a $3.99 cover price on it. Let me look. Yeah, so it looks like it has a $3.99 cover price. Let me know what you guys think about this new $7.99, where they're making the comic books bigger for DC, but it's stories you probably don't actually care about. I don't like the idea of it, but that's just me. So it's good to see $3.99 from the Black Label. It's going to be drawn by Alvaro Martinez Bueno. It's going to launch this June. And of course, the Hollywood Reporter, which has been breaking most of the news here lately when it comes to comics, which is interesting to me, has the first look at it. So that's where I'm pulling the article from here. You know, in DC Black Label, if you're familiar with Hill House Comics, they, you know, Joe Hill did a bunch of stuff there with DC Black Label. So it makes sense that they kept him. In this article, it talks about basically when he presented this idea, it was a no-brainer. They were going to just do whatever they could to keep James Tynion on board, which is awesome. So James Tynion describes this as one of the most personal stories for him. He has a couple of quotes in here. Sometimes it helps to look at yourself from a less flattering angle, especially when you're dealing with horror. It talks about societal fears and stuff like that. So I believe this is going to resonate with a lot of people, especially with what's been going on with COVID. And that's kind of the feel I'm getting through this article. So the synopsis here, we're saying, and I'm going to read it, but the synopsis is: the story sees a group of 30-somethings invited to Sylvan Lake House by a friend named Walter. Some have known him since childhood, some from college, and some from a party just a few months ago. That seems pretty relevant. Why just throw that in there? So I'm going to say that's going to be pretty relevant of the type of people and where he's known them from. Walter is feeling like the bad guy already. He's a little odd, but after a year that everyone has had, while not mentioning the pandemic, the comic feels very current with its temperature checks and social media connectivity. People are ready for an escape. Once there, however, the group learns the world has fallen into terrifying chaos and that they might not ever be able to leave. Oh, and Walter is not who they thought he was. Okay, so obviously it sounds like Walter's either going to be the bad guy, and we're going to expect that going in, or he's going to be a good guy, and the synopsis here is basically leading us to think he's a bad guy and he's going to switch on us. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think Tynion really hasn't done a ton of like bait and switches. He's, in my mind, felt very straightforward. So we'll see. So, and finally, they do give us a double page spread here at the bottom. I'll throw up on the screen. There's no text, none of that. So I don't know if in the book, once it's finally out, if we'll actually get some word bubbles here. But I mean, if you look at it, it looks very interesting. At the beginning, you have people at the lake. They're chilling, watching pool, cooking some steak. And then you have this girl at the bottom who's getting up, looking at a phone or looking at something or on the phone. Yeah, it looks like she's on the phone, that fourth panel to the right, a third panel to the right, fourth from the left. Like she's just realized something pretty bad. So you just see her there at the end with the hand over the face. That's pretty interesting. Artwork looks okay. I mean, I'm good with this. I think it looks good. And again, that's a double page, so looks pretty neat. So let me know what you guys think about that. Next on the list, Mike Mignola, Warwick Johnson are announcing a brand new graphic novel called Falcon Spear, and it's coming this fall. So Dark Horse Comics is going to, of course, publish this. Let's be realistic. Mike Mignola's had a great relationship with Dark Horse, it seems, for ever, so why not do this? Let me read you the press release, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. So this fall, Dark Horse Comics will publish Falcon Spear, an original graphic novel featuring Mike Mignola and Warwick Johnson Caldwell's characters, Professor J.T. Mindhart, I don't know, Mr. Knox, and Miss Mary Van Sloan. This eerie Victorian-style mystery delivers horror humor and the kind of off-kilter charming twist that fans of Mignola and Johnson Caldwell's previous collaboration, Mr. Higgins Comes Home, and Our Encounters with Evil, Adventures of Professor J.T. Meinhardt and his assistant Mr. Knox have come to expect. The monster hunters have teamed up to slay spooks and investigate the uncanny before, but now they'll tackle a question that's haunted them for years. What happened to their friend and vampire slayer extraordinaire, James Falcon Spear? So what I find interesting more than anything about this is, quite frankly, it seems like Mike Mignola has nothing to do with this. And I say that lightly, but from my understanding, it's all written by Johnson Caldwell, right? Its lettering is done by Clem Robbins. So Mignola basically just does a cover for the graphic novel, and it's colored by Dave Stewart. So it's very interesting that Mike's name's on here. If he's not writing, he's not doing any of the drawing other than a cover. And that brings up a good point. How do you guys feel about when the inside of a comic looks nothing like the cover? That to me is one of the most frustrating things in the world. I did kind of feel like Berserker did that to me a little bit. It's still good, but I wanted the artwork on the inside after looking at it for months, almost 6-7 months now, and then on the inside it was not like the cover. It's a struggle for me. I know a lot of people probably do agree. So very interesting. If you're familiar with this, the previous books, this will be right in line with what you're looking for. But like I said, when I saw Mike Mignola announcing a new graphic novel, it was something I definitely was interested in. And then as we start digging into it, he's just doing the cover, but his name's still going to be all over everything. So seems like a little bit of a sales tactic. And one of the greatest things to happen today of the year, I mean, I'm so excited for this. I can't tell you how excited I am for this. Canto. Westbrook Studios is developing animated feature adaptation of graphic novel Canto. Yes, finally, I kind of think whenever we first started reading it, we're like, man, this is going to be perfect for some type of animation, which is just gorgeous. So we've spoken with David and Drew a few times now on the channel, and those two gentlemen are absolutely some of the best people around. This Canto creation is it's a wonderful thing. I mean, I even have the little Canto ornament sitting back here on the shelf, one of just a few actually. So super exciting. Congratulations to those guys. It is Will Smith's and Jada Pinkett Smith's Westbrook Studio, so that's pretty cool. And they've optioned the rights to it. So David Booher is set to write the screenplay, and he will be an executive producer. and so will Drew Zucker. So that's pretty awesome. If you don't know how this started, basically Drew drew the little Canto basically as an image, and they sat on it for a while, and there's a lot more to it, but eventually they got around to writing it. And I tell you what, this book from the very beginning has just been excellent. So, and they do have another one shot and then a couple of more kind of series coming behind it. So most times these come out in a 5-issue miniseries, except for the one shots. Just super exciting stuff. So if you're not familiar with Canto, I'll read you here the synopsis for the series. I encourage you to go pick up the trade paperback. The Volume 1 trade paperback's been out for about a year. Volume 2 should be coming out here soon if it's not already. But here it is. So for generations, Canto and his fellow 10 people have been enslaved in the land of Arcana, their hearts replaced with clocks. Though love is forbidden, that hasn't stopped Canto from falling in love with a 10 girl. When the slavers damage the 10 girl's clock beyond repair, Canto leaves Arcana to go on a quest and find his people's missing heart. Along the way, Canto befriends a fierce Malarex, finds a hermit who lives in a mechanical squid, and works with a mysterious warrior named Alora, who helps him infiltrate the city of Dis. At the Emerald Tower, Canto confronts the wizard behind it all, the shrouded man, and learns the fate of his true love's heart. And of course, this story is 100% inspired by The Wizard of Oz and Dante's Inferno Canto. So super exciting. Again, super congratulations to those two gentlemen. I hope that they get full control of this. And if Westbrook Studios, knows what they're doing, they're going to let these two gentlemen do what's best. And it's going to be awesome. So I'm excited for every step of the way to see kind of what sneak peeks we get. And I'm just excited to see indie comics becoming, getting out there, right? I mean, we're seeing stuff like Invincible coming out, and now Canto, and of course we've had all these Netflix series adapted from comic books, but I'm just excited to see the stories that I love so much hitting the big screen, and hoping that they don't alter or take away what makes the comic books great, right? So, but anyways, guys, that is 3 pretty awesome news stories. Well, let me rephrase, 2 really awesome news stories, and then one with the big letdown. If you're going to put Mike Mignola's name out there and all he's doing is basically a cover, it's a bit of a letdown. So leave me a comment down below. Subscribe if you have not already. That does help out a lot. Guys, smash the like button on the way out, and you guys are the best part of Two Brothers Comics. And as always, collect your way.